Positive youth development is an approach.
It's a comprehensive framework.
A philosophy and an approach.
A strategy designed to ensure
all young people in a community.
All youth in our communities.
It's all youth as opposed to youth who are labeled as being at risk.
all youth in a community have the opportunity to succeed and to become active, functioning members of that community.
Having access to the supports and resources necessary to become active and engaged members of the community.
Specific practices are that all youth have opportunities to engage in meaningful activities in their community, and that everyone, adults and young people, are working towards incorporating young people in their communities as active participants and not merely recipients of services.
Being able to have a youth at the table saying what they need or what works will help you to create a way to take care of that youth.
Positive youth development in any sense would have to involve youth in some kind of decision-making capacity and acknowledging that they have the capability to make decisions for themselves and sometimes for other people.
You know, whether it's having young people on boards of directorships of organizations that affect their lives, or whether it's making sure that schools, that kids have input into school policy.
Well, one thing that's really important is to recognize young people for their positive contributions to the community or to their schools or their families.
There are a lot of ways to recognize youth. Creating opportunities that fit with their interests is recognizing youth. Recognizing them not just for things that they have to do, but things that they do on their own, for their talents, for things that excite them.
But even just making sure that when you see young people in your town that you say hello to them and you try to know their names, that's an important aspect of treating them like they're citizens of your community.
And I think we just hit on the big three, the skills, opportunities, and recognitions.
Mm-hmm. So
giving young people skills to be able to take advantage of opportunities, and then providing those opportunities for people to be involved in, and then providing the recognition, noticing that they've employed those skills in those opportunities.
You know, that's the bottom line of it, is if all the members of the community, the business sector, the law enforcement sector, the town government, and families and the school all treat youth as valuable future community members and give them the guidance to grow into, that reality, it's just going to make for a healthier community for everyone.
So there is extensive research on positive youth development that really indicates very specific developmental assets and skills that young people need to have in order to thrive. Through a combination of surveys, observation, and ongoing work with young people, we can actually document the development of those skills and assets to show that there has been an increase over time.
A lot of research shows that when youth are supported at home and in the community, they're more likely to succeed academically, they're less likely to engage in risk behaviors, they're more likely to stay in their community, or if they leave to go to college, they're more likely to come back. If you could print out all of the research that I have seen in the past week alone that I've been looking at to convince people that positive development works, the stack would be about this high. All this research shows us that this proactive approach works for youth. It's like the ultimate prevention.
So we have to give it some time in order to see that it does work. And I think we can know that it's working by asking young people how they feel about their experience in the community or in the school or in whatever setting we're looking at.
I've seen many youth who come, beginning with our services as youth who really are not very empowered, who they may have been kids involved with different systems and didn't have a lot of voice in their lives, and really have been transformed by being allowed to get support, to have a voice in what's happening in their lives, and they've really blossomed.
I'm just looking at a youth who's experienced being able to have a safe space in their community and feeling like they're recognized and feeling like the community space is their own. that they're allowed to be there, I think is pretty clear evidence that positive youth development works.
Once we learn about the principles and practices of positive youth development, we can think about our own lives and think about what has worked well for us and what has not worked. And we can often identify that the things that were really helpful to us as young people were those things that fall into the philosophy and approach of positive youth development.
I guess what I would see in a community that really practices positive youth development is more interaction between young people and people of all different ages.
It's really much more of a partnership you'd see between adult and youth.
Seeing youth being able to interact positively with law enforcement, with businesses, with fellow community members.
Simultaneously, more of an attitude among adults of seeing young people as resources and not as a drain.
You see youth actively engaged in all areas of the community.
I think seeing more young people involved in decision-making positions within communities.
Whether that's participating on town planning committees or an advisory board, or helping to decide what elements are going to be included in the new high school that's being built.
One of the most important things that you would see in a positive youth development community is that the youth within the community take pride in that community. They feel like they're part of the community, that they're valued.
We also open up ourselves and our communities to really gaining so much and learning so much from this sector of the population that is not that often heard.
I've been working with young people for the last 10 years. When those young people have had an opportunity to speak up, to play a constructive role in the community, to serve the community, and to be resources, that it changes how they understand themselves. And I've seen youth go from being very sort of disenfranchised to being empowered. And I think that that's what a positive youth development community is about.
Well, I think all youth should be engaged in the same. I think everybody on a whole should be engaged with the same respect, youth or adults.
I just think that instead of looking at a person's age to try and figure out who they are, it should be more about, like, if it's for a job, how they work and how well they do with it and stuff like that.
And I think it's kind of important for communities to have like a art center, almost like a place where kids can go, as opposed to like doing other things, you know.
I like that it's just like free to anybody who wants to come in, and you get free computers or some foosball table. It's a nice hangout to hang out with friends. I think it is because it's a lot open to our ideas, and instead of just being in there, we can actually let our ideas out.
Like just being able to get out of the house and just go somewhere that ain't like really cold and get to chill out, meet new people, and just have a good time.
I play football with him. I get to play drums, and it's awesome here. Yeah. I get to ride bikes, go to the skate park, ride my skateboard, ride my bike.
It's kind of an important role in some kids' lives, so they have something to do instead of just sitting there and the rooms doing nothing.
I think they should have programs that advocate for teenagers to help get jobs or get into school, or even just get contacts to get jobs. Most teenagers just need some sort of adult advocate to be like, no, they're not a slacker, they're not whatever. They're good and hardworking and they can do whatever they set their mind to and blah, blah, blah.
And I think that it's really important for, like, I don't know, say that like kids have like a responsibility in the community, like whatever it is. I think that they should have that one thing that they do that makes them integrated into the community, and they have like a sense of responsibility for that thing.
The Positive Youth Development Communities Initiative is unique. It is a process by which a community can be educated and changed about the way that it works with youth and the way that adults and youth interact in that community. Positive youth development, also known as PYD, fosters within youth self-awareness, self-confidence, and self-worth. PYD helps youth succeed in school and prepares them to be healthy and productive community members. We believe that if an entire community embraces positive youth development, that we will have healthier youth. We'll have youth who want to be in school, youth who want to be engaged in the community, youth who are enthused about being members of the community, and youth who will probably come back to the community after college. The PYD community's concept and strategy was developed by agencies that serve youth in the Franklin, Hampshire, North Quabbin region of Western Mass, and by youth themselves. The PYD Communities Initiative seeks to provide the tools and motivation for a community as a whole to embrace positive youth development as a strategy for working with youth. Our vision is that every community will want to be a positive youth development community because it's good for youth and it's good for the community. We want to help make that happen.